Welcome, Dharma travelers. Today we enter the luminous chamber of Chapter 6 of the Lotus Sutra, where vows echo across lifetimes and the Buddha unveils his timeless prophecies. In the Sanskrit windings of Jñāna and Jñāna, we witness the cosmic blueprint unfold. Disciples, once earthbound, now ascending through the chakras of transformation. From Kāśyapa's grounding vow at the root to the blossoming of wisdom at the crown. This chapter is not merely scripture, it's activation, a reminder that enlightenment is seated in every practitioner, ready to bloom when the inner lotus turns toward light. My name is Antoine. Welcome to my Dharma path. We're at Lotus Sutra, Chapter 6. I'm using the Burton Watson translation. The title of the sutra is Nama Dharma Purification Sutra. That's Sanskrit. At that time, the world-honored one, having finished reciting these verses, made an announcement of the great assembly, speaking in these words: This disciple of mine, Kāśyapa, in future existences will be able to enter the presence of 3,000 billion Buddhas, world-honored ones, to offer alms, pay reverence, honor, and praise them, widely proclaiming the innumerable great doctrines of the Buddhas. And in this final incarnation, we will be able to become a Buddha named Light Bright, thus come one, worthy of offerings, of right and universal knowledge, perfect clarity and conduct, well gone, understanding the world, unexcelled worthy, trainer of people, teacher of heavenly and human beings, Buddha, world-honored one. What are meant by heavenly and human beings in the 6th chapter of the Lotus Sutra?
Heavenly and human beings in the Lotus Sutra refers to all sentient beings, encompassing divine beings like gods or devas and humans. It's a way of acknowledging the universal audience of the teachings and the potential for enlightenment across all realms of existence. So it's about inclusivity and the far-reaching impact of the Buddha's message.
Could you give an example of a heavenly being?
Take your time.
An example of a heavenly being, please.
Sure. In Buddhist teachings, a heavenly being or deva is often seen as a god or celestial being residing in heavenly realms. These beings are depicted as having extraordinary powers and long lives, enjoying great pleasures. However, their state is still within the cycle of samsara, not freed from suffering like an enlightened Buddha. Does that help illustrate it?
It does help. I'll go on reading, page 108. His lamp will be called light virtue, and his kalpa will be called great adornment. The lifespan of this Buddha will be 12 small kalpas. His correct law will endure in the world for 20 small kalpas, and his counterfeit law for 20 small kalpas. His realm will be majestically adorned, free of defilement or evil, shards or rubble, thorns or briars, or the unclean refuse of latrines. The land will be level and smooth, without high places or sags, pits or knolls. The ground will be of lapis lazuli, with rows of jeweled trees and ropes of gold to mark the boundaries of the roads. Jeweled flowers will be scattered around, and everywhere will be pure and clean. The bodhisattvas of the realm will number countless thousands of millions, and the multitude of voice hearers will likewise be innumerable. There will be no workings of the devil, and although the devil and the devil's people will be there, they will all protect the law of the Buddha. What does it mean when it says the devil will protect the law of the Buddha?
It's saying that even beings typically perceived as obstacles to enlightenment, like the devil or Mara, will ultimately support and uphold the Buddhist teachings. It's a powerful message about transformation, potential for all beings to contribute to the spread of enlightenment, even those initially seen as adversaries. This reflects the Lotus Sutra's profound message of universal inclusivity and the transformative power of the Dharma.
When I asked that question, it was 4:44 on the timer. And what is a voice hearer?
Voice hearers, or Sravakas, are disciples who attain enlightenment by listening to the teachings of the Buddha. They're known for their focus on personal liberation and the mastery of teachings like the Four Noble Truths. In the context of the passage you're reading, it's highlighting the countless beings who are dedicated to the Buddhist path and the profound impact of the Buddha's teachings. Did anything resonate with you about this?
At that time, the world-honored one wishing to state his meaning once more spoke in verse form, saying, I announce this to the monk. When I employ the Buddha eye to observe Kāśyapa here, I see that in a future existence, after innumerable kalpas have passed, he will be able to attain Buddhahood. In future existences, he will offer alms and enter the presence of 3,000 billion Buddhas. World-honored ones, for the sake of the Buddha wisdom, he will carry out Brahma practices meticulously and will offer alms to the unexcelled ones. The most honored of two-legged beings, after he has done so and has practiced all the unsurpassed types of wisdom, in his final incarnation he will be able to become a Buddha. His land will be pure and clean, the ground of lapis lazuli. Many jeweled trees will line the roadsides with golden ropes to mark the roads, and those who see it will rejoice. It will constantly emit a pleasing fragrance, with heaps of rare flowers scattered around, and many kinds of strange and wonderful things for its adornment. The land will be level and smooth, without hills or depressions. The multitude of bodhisattvas will be beyond calculation, their minds subdued and gentle, having attained great transcendental powers, and they will uphold and embrace the great vehicle scriptures of the Buddhas. The multitude of voice hearers will be free of outflows in their last incarnation. Sons of the Dharma King, and their number too will be beyond calculation. Even when one looks with heavenly eye, one cannot determine their number. The Buddha will have a lifespan of 12 small kalpas. His correct law will endure in the world for 20 small kalpas, and his counterfeit law for 20 small kalpas. Light bright, world-honored one will be of this description. What is a kalpa?
A kalpa is a vast period of time in Buddhist cosmology, almost beyond human comprehension. It's used to measure the lifespans of worlds and the duration of the Dharma. The text you're quoting describes the immense scale of a Buddha's lifetime and the enduring influence of their teachings. Does this speak to you in your studies, Antoine?
At that time, the great Madhulgayana, Subhuti, and Mahakatayana, all of them trembling with agitation, pressed their palms together with a single mind and gazed up at the world-honored one, their eyes never leaving him for an instant. Who are these people, Madhulgayana, Subhuti, and Mahakatayana?
They were revered disciples of the Buddha. Mahamodgalyayana, known for his supernatural powers, Subhuti, a key figure in the teaching of emptiness, and Mahakatayana, known for his skill in debate and teaching the Dharma. Their devotion and reverence for the Buddha exemplify the deep connection between teacher and disciple. How does this resonate with you?
Joining their voices in a single sound, they spoke in verse form, saying, Great hero and stalwart, world-honored one, Dharma King of the Chakras, because of you, have pity on us, favor us with the Buddha voice. If because you understand our innermost minds, you bestow a prophecy of Buddhahood upon us, it would be like sweet dew bathing us washing away fever and imparting coolness. Suppose that someone coming from a land of famine should suddenly encounter a great king's feast. His heart still filled with doubt and fear, he would not dare to eat the food at once, but if he were instructed by the king to do so, then he would venture to eat. We now are like such a person, for whenever we recall the errors of the lesser vehicle, we do not know what we should do to gain the Buddha's unsurpassed wisdom. Though we hear the Buddha's voice telling us that we will attain Buddhahood in our hearts, we still harbor anxiety and fear. Why did they harbor anxiety and fear?
Their anxiety and fear
Why? Let's see. Why?
or capable of attaining. The Buddha's prophecy is like a feast, but their doubt holds them back from partaking fully. It's a powerful metaphor for overcoming self-doubt to embrace one's true potential. What does that make you think of? Welcome back, Antoine.
Okay, to
that
overcome doubt,
really dives deep into their anxiety and fear come from a deep self-doubt rooted.
What are you doing? You're confusing me. Okay. Overcoming self-doubt. The anxiety and fear represents something else. It's like an analogy.
Exactly. It's a powerful analogy showing inner conflict. Even when promised great wisdom, doubt and fear can stop us from embracing it. They needed reassurance to overcome their doubts and accept their potential. A deep reflection on human nature and faith.
At that time, the world honored one, understanding the thoughts and the minds of his major disciples, made this announcement to the monks. Subhuti, here in future existences will enter the presence of 310,000 million Nayutas of Buddhas, offering alms, paying reverence, honoring and praising them. He will constantly carry out Brahma practices and fulfill the Bodhisattva way, and in his final incarnation, he will be able to attain Buddhahood. His title will be rare, from thus come one worthy of offerings, of right and universal knowledge, perfect clarity and conduct, well gone, understanding the world, unexcelled worthy, trainer of people, teacher of heavenly and human beings, Buddha, world honored one. His kalpa will be named possessed of jewels, and his realm will be named jewel-born. The land will be level and smooth, the ground made of crystal. It will be adorned with jewel trees and be free of hills and pits, rubble and thorns, and the filth from the trains. Can you explain all these things in this story?
Sure. This passage paints a vision of a future Buddha, Subhuti, who will practice great virtue and eventually attain Buddhahood. His land, jewel-born, symbolizes a perfect realm, reflecting his pure and enlightened nature. It's adorned with jewel trees, flat and smooth, symbolizing the elimination of suffering and obstacles in his realm. This utopian vision inspires practitioners to strive for enlightenment and purity in their own lives.
Jewel flowers will cover the ground, and everywhere will be pure and clean. The people of this realm will all dwell on jeweled terraces, in rare and wonderful towers and pavilions. His voice-heard disciples will be countless, boundless beyond the scope of calculation or simile. The multitude of bodhisattvas will number countless thousands, 10,000s, millions of Nayutas. The lifespan of this Buddha will be 12 small kalpas. His correct law will endure in the world for 20 small kalpas, and his counterfeit law will for 20 small kalpas. This Buddha will constantly dwell in mid-air, preaching the law for the assembly and saving numberless multitudes of bodhisattvas and voice hearers. Why will bodhisattvas be saved?
This passage describes an idealized realm under the future Buddha, depicting a world filled with purity, abundance, and divine living. The Buddha's voice resonates, gathering countless disciples and bodhisattvas, symbolizing limitless compassion and wisdom. The future Buddha's long lifespan.
At that time, the world-honored one, wishing to state his meaning, once more spoke in verse form, saying, "You multitude of monks, I now announce this to you. All of you with a single mind should hear what I say. My major disciple, Subhuti, is destined to become a Buddha with the title Rare Form. He will offer alms to countless tens of thousands and millions of Buddhas. By following the practices of the Buddhas, he will gradually fulfill the great law. And in his final incarnation will acquire the 32 features. He will be imposing, exceptional, wonderful, like a jeweled mountain. His Buddha land will be foremost in adornment and purity. No living being who sees it will fail to love and delight in it. There in the midst, the Buddha will save unreckonable multitudes." What is the Buddha saving the multitudes from?
The Buddha often speaks of saving beings from the cycle of birth and death, suffering and ignorance, leading them towards enlightenment and liberation. It's a spiritual awakening and freedom from the illusions of the material world.
Freedom from the illusions of the 6 realms of samsara, is that correct?
Absolutely. Saving beings from the illusions within the 6 realms of samsara, like craving, hatred, and ignorance, guides them toward enlightenment. It's about breaking free from cyclical suffering.
In the Buddha's law will be many bodhisattvas, all of them with keen capacities, turning the wheel of non-regression. That land will constantly be adorned with bodhisattvas. The multitude of voice hearers will be beyond calculation, all gaining the 3 understandings and exercising the 6 transcendental powers. They will dwell in the 8 emancipations and possess great authority and virtue. The law preached by that Buddha will manifest immeasurable transcendental powers and transformations of wondrous nature. Heavenly and human beings in number like Ganges sands will all press their palms together, listen to and receive the Buddha's words. That Buddha will have a lifespan of 12 small kalpas. His correct law will endure in the world for 20 small kalpas, and his counterfeit law for 20 small kalpas. Explain the difference between correct law, counterfeit law, and the other one.
The correct law refers to the true teachings of the Buddha, faithfully practiced and leading to enlightenment. The counterfeit law, on the other hand, represents a decline where the practices are followed in form but lack the true spirit, leading to a loss of genuine insight.
At that time, the world-honored one once more spoke to the multitude of monks. "Now I say this to you, great Kāśyapa, here in future existences will present various articles of suffering and will serve 8,000 million Buddhas, paying honor and reverence to them. After these Buddhas have passed into extinction, he will raise a memorial tower for each one, measuring 1,000 Jñānas in height and exactly 500 Jñānas in both width and depth. It will be made of gold, silver, lapis lazuli, seashell, agate, pearl, carnelian. With these 7 precious substances joined together, numerous flowers, necklaces, paste, incense, powdered incense, incense for burning, silken canopies, streamers, and banners will be presented as offerings to the memorial towers. And after this has been done, he will once more make offerings to 20,000 millions of Buddhas and will repeat the entire process. When he is finished offering alms to all the Buddhas, he will fulfill the way of the Bodhisattva and will become a Buddha with the title Jñāna, gold light, thus come one, worthy of offerings of right and universal knowledge, perfect clarity and conduct, well gone, understanding the world, unexcelled, worthy trainer of people, teacher of heavenly and human beings, world honored one. What's meant by the Buddha name?
Jñāna here signifies a Buddha who will emerge with qualities like radiating golden light. Such a Buddha becomes a beacon of wisdom and compassion, guiding beings with perfect clarity and understanding. It's a poetic and symbolic way of envisioning enlightenment. Cool, right?
Is this an archetype?
Jñāna here signifies a Buddha who will emerge with qualities like radiating golden light. Such a Buddha becomes a beacon of wisdom and compassion, guiding beings with perfect clarity and understanding. It's a poetic and symbolic way of envisioning enlightenment. Cool, right?
His land will be level and smooth, the ground made of crystal, adorned with jeweled trees with ropes of gold to mark the boundaries of the roads. Wonderful flowers will cover the ground, and everywhere will be pure and clean, and all who see it will rejoice. The four evil paths of existence, hell and the realms of hungry spirits, beasts and asuras will not exist there. There will be many heavenly and human beings, and multitudes of voice hearers and bodhisattvas, and innumerable tens of thousands of millions will adorn the land. The Buddha's lifespan will be 12 small kalpas. His correct law will endure in the world for 20 small kalpas, and his counterfeit law for 20 small kalpas. At that time, the world-honored one, wishing to state his meaning, once more spoke in verse form, saying, You multitude of monks, listen, all of you with a single mind, for in what I speak there is nothing that departs from the truth. Kāśyapa here will give various kinds of fine and wonderful articles of offerings to the Buddhas, and after the Buddhas have entered extinction, he will raise 7 jewel towers and present flowers and incense as offerings to their relics. And in the final incarnation, he will gain Buddha wisdom and achieve impartial and correct enlightenment. His land will be pure and clean, and he will save innumerable tens of thousands of living beings and will receive offerings from all the 10 directions. This Buddha's brilliance no one will be able to equal. His Buddha title will be Jambu, gold light, bodhisattva and voice hearers, cutting off all forms of existence, countless and immeasurable in number, will adorn his land. What does it mean to cut off all forms of existence?
Cutting off all forms of existence refers to transcending the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, known as samsara. It symbolizes achieving liberation.
Achieving liberation from what? Achieving liberation. What are we achieving? Okay, we'll come back to why we're achieving liberation. At that time, the world-honored one spoke again to the great assembly. Now, I say this to you, great Moggoliana, here will previous various kinds of articles as offerings to 8,000 Buddhas, paying honor and reverence to them. After these Buddhas have passed into extinction, for each of them he will raise a memorial tower measuring 1,000 Jñānas in height and exactly 500 Jñānas in width and depth. It will be made of gold, silver, lapis lazuli, seashell, agate, pearl, and carnelian. With these 7 precious substances joined together, numerous flowers, necklaces, paste incense, powder incense, incense for burning, silken canopies, streamers, and banners will be presented as offerings. After this has been done, he will make offerings to 210,000 million Buddhas, repeating the process. What are the offerings made for? is a co-pilot. Can you talk about what the offerings are made for in the Stole of Prophecy chapter? It's not there.
Free from the cycle of birth.
Offerings. What are the offerings made?
The offerings are the offerings are a way to honor and show devotion to the Buddhas, acknowledging their teachings and the path to enlightenment. It's a symbolic act of respect and commitment to following the Dharma. In the Bestowal of Prophecy chapter, these acts of offering are connected to the idea of receiving a prophecy of Buddhahood.
Okay, then he will be able to become a Buddha with the title Tamalaptra, sandalwood fragrance. Thus come one worthy of offerings of right and universal knowledge, perfect clarity and conduct, well-going understanding, the world unexcelled worthy, trainer of people, teacher of heavenly and human beings, Buddha, world-honored one. His kalpa will be named joy replete, and his realm mind delight. The land will be level and smooth, the ground made of crystal, jeweled trees will adorn it. Pearls and flowers will be scattered around, everywhere will be pure and clean, and all who see it will rejoice. There will be many heavenly and human beings, and the bodhisattvas and voice hearers will be immeasurable in number. That Buddha's lifespan will be 24 small kalpas. His correct law will endure in the world for 40 small kalpas, and his counterfeit law for 42 kalpas. At that time, the world-honored one, wishing to state his meaning, once more spoke in verse form, saying, this disciple of mine, the great Mahadevayana, when he has cast off his present body, will be able to see 8,000, 2,200, 10,000 million Buddhas, world-honored ones, and for the sake of the Buddha way, will offer alms, honor, and receive them. Where these Buddhas are, he will constantly carry out Brahma practices, and for immeasurable kalpas will uphold and embrace the Buddha law. When these Buddhas have passed into extinction, he will raise 7 jeweled towers with golden implements to mark the spot for all time, and flowers, incense, and music presented as offerings in the memorial towers of the Buddhas. Step by step, he will fulfill all the duties of the Bodhisattva way, and in the land called Mind Delight, will be able to become a Buddha named Tamalaptra, sandalwood fragrance. This Buddha's lifespan will be 24 kalpas. Constantly for the sake of heavenly and human beings, he will expound the Buddha way. Voice hearers innumerable as Ganges sand, with the 3 understandings and 6 transcendental powers, will display great authority and virtue. Countless bodhisattvas will be a firm will, diligent in effort, and with regard to the Buddha wisdom, none will ever retrogress. After this Buddha has passed into extinction, his correct law will endure for 40 small kalpas, and his counterfeit law will do likewise. My various disciples, fully endowed with dignity and virtue, number 500, and everyone will receive such a prophecy. And in future existence, all will be able to attain Buddhahood. Concerning the causes and conditions of past existences as they pertain to me, and I will now preach, you must listen carefully. As Kāśyapa and the Charvakas are prophesied into future Buddhas, so too are we invited to see our own path reflected in theirs. Let the Sanskrit terms settle in your spirit. Brahmakaya, Buddha, Kāśyapa, each one a pulse in the spine of awakening. Thank you for joining me in this sacred space. Like, comment, and share this journey if it resonates. And as always, may your voice carry the Dharma, and may your chakras remain radiant in truth.